There's the leader, Bobby Isaac. Wide World of Sports visits the big cities and the small ones around the world. That's part of the purpose of our program. And here today we're seeing NASCAR stock car racing in its native habitat. This is really where it started, in these small tracks. And now we're getting an interval timing in seconds between the leader, Isaac, and the second place car, David Pearson. As you can see, that lead is getting to be quite a substantial one. As we continue to race under the green flag, there's only been one yellow all afternoon so far. 17.5 seconds is the difference between that car, number 17, in second place, and the leader, Bobby Isaac. Some great names in this area. I noticed on the way out today, we're about equidistant between a town called Travelers Rest and another one called Easley. But wasn't Easley the place where Curtis Turner landed his plane on the church parking lot that time?
Exactly, and he remembered for it, for that rather spectacular happening.
Ed Negre, number 49, you saw in the pits. Now again, there's Ed Negre's car. He was not in contention, not among the leaders at the time that he went in there. This is the car so far this afternoon. Bobby Isaac trying to win his 4th race in a row on this track. Reminder here that on Sunday, April 18th at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time, ABC Television will present Once Upon a Wheel, a behind-the-scenes look at automobile racing, its excitement, and the men who are a part of this sport. Paul Newman will be the narrator and a participant. Once Upon a Wheel features champion race drivers Richard Petty, who's not doing too well here today, Leroy Yarborough, who's down in the pits with Ken Squire, Bobby Allison, who was a contender but is now out of the race here, Parnelli Jones, Jackie Stewart, and Dennis Holm. Mario Andretti, Al and Bobby Unser, all of them featured on this Once Upon a Wheel show on Sunday, April 18th, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time, here on ABC. And there is car number 49 back on the track. The difference between second and third place, by the way, Chris has gotten a report, is 10.5 seconds, so Marcus still has something to make up before he can catch Pearson, but could do it. 115 laps have gone by of a scheduled 200 laps, and remember, the racing is live. It's happening as you watch. There is the third place car of Dave Marcus, the fellow to watch, who's moved up from 12th to 3rd and is still going very, very well. We'll be back to Greenville in another minute.
Well, with Bobby Isaac well out there, this is Bob Kennedy live for Craftsman Eager Mowers. The power mower is totally designed for easy operating, starting with the lightweight magnesium housing, the extra large wheels for easy rolling, the simple height adjustment levers, and most important of all, the Craftsman Eager 1 engine. The Eager 1 is a low compression engine with plenty of reserve power and a totally different carburation system that needs no adjusting. So it starts easy, and it keeps starting easy for a long, long time. In fact, while it doesn't always start on the first pull, it does start often enough that I'm going to try to demonstrate that for you right here, right now, on live television. In fact, I'm getting so confident at it that I think I'll mark my column before I start the engine. Okay? These Craftsman mowers, and only the Craftsman mowers, are powered by the Eager 1 engine. They start. They cut grass and they last, and they're sold only at Sears.
Again, we're back to the race, and if some of the guys could get the cars working as well as the lawnmower, they'd be very happy today. There's Bobby Isaac, the leader. And things may be deceptively tranquil looking at the moment. As we've said, Isaac has a good, comfortable lead over the second place car of Pearson. Pearson still has a pretty smooth lead over the third place car here of Dave Marcus. However, these cars are going to have to make a pit stop, and that should be coming up pretty soon.
Well, Jim, they're waiting, of course, for a yellow flag, but none of them are going to go beyond lap 150 without stopping. They'll run out of gas. And we're on about the 121st or 22nd lap now, so it should be pretty soon that we start seeing the contenders go to the pits.
Well, right now we're watching the leader trying to lap the second place car. If Bobby Isaac can get by David Pearson, and that's him right there, Isaac will be all by himself on that lap. Nobody will be on the same lap with him on this half-mile racetrack in Greenville. It's a paved asphalt track. If you just joined us, it was just paved a year ago. It used to be a dirt track.
Conversely, Jim, if the yellow flag should come out now and the pace car get in front of Isaac, Pearson will have made up all of this deficit and tack on the back of the chain.
Okay, 120 laps have gone by. The standings at 120. Bobby Isaac the leader. And the car that he's trying to pass right now, David Pearson, is in second place. Dave Marcus is third. Benny Parsons in number 72 is fourth. And Richard Brooks in car number 22 is fifth. And there he goes, Bobby Isaac, putting a lap, almost putting it on, and doing it now on the second place car, driven by David Pearson. So Isaac is all by himself, nobody on the same lap with him.
4 NASCAR championships represented there.
That's right, and again we will remind you there's only been one yellow flag in this entire race so far, very unusual on a tight little course like this. Only one yellow flag, and that was not for a serious accident. It was a car that just spun out very briefly and stopped in the middle of the race course and did get, in fact, restarted. Let's listen now to a...
Excuse me, Jim, they just signaled Pearson to pit. So Pearson will be coming into the pits in another lap or two.
Okay, so it looks like those pit stops we've been awaiting are going to be coming. There have been no pit stops by the leaders so far. We knew that one would have to happen. And now with 126 laps going by of 200, it looks like they're going to start doing it. There's the leader again going by. The one signal we did see was the signal to David Pearson to come in. He's the second place car.
Jim, they're concerned. They've got 2 signs out there, and they're shaking them at Pearson. They're afraid he's about out. They want him in, and they want him in now.
There it is, David, pit. Could be they're afraid he might run out of fuel out there.
Could very well be. You know, that's they're using that 427 engine, and they're winding it very tight.
See, normally in a race like this, they would be waiting for a yellow flag of some kind to be able to pit under the yellow and not lose any places in the race. But it looks like everybody's going to have to pit under the green, which, of course, is the most exciting kind of pit stop. The speed of the pit crews becomes extremely important. Now, there is David, and it looks like he's slowing down. He's going to do it this time. He finally got the signal from his pit crew. You got to watch on him, Chris. Let's see how long this one takes. NASCAR pit crews, the most famous in the world for their speed. There they go.
Remember, now we time from the time the wheels stop until the time the wheels start again. Right side tires and fuel. No under the hood work, no oil, and no chassis adjustments. A little one-stop service there you get from your friendly service station.
Including the windshield wipes, if you notice. And now back out he comes again, 22 and 9/10 seconds, a good pit stop. And David was not held up getting out on the track. That also helped him a bit.
That's right. That was a good stop. Remember, Petty's stop was 21.5, 22.9. Not quite as fast as the Petty family, but not bad at all.
Okay, now, with that pit stop having been made, Isaac, of course, is still the leader, but Dave Marcus is now the second place car, number 2. However, Marcus, as well as Isaac, will have to make pit stops. But there's Marcus, who started 12th and has now moved up to second. There's some news from the pits. Let's go to Ken Squire.
In the pits, with me, Leroy Yarborough. And Leroy, we've got a situation developing here. If the race continues under green, the leader's having to pit. Petty could be right back in the lead lap with the rest of the field at the end. He sure could, except I believe when Petty was spinning the wheels real bad, he got a lap down to Isaacs and also to...
Excuse me, Ken. Bobby Isaac is coming into the pits. We're going to take a look at him for a moment.
Bobby.
Here we are, Bobby Isaac, the leader in the pits. We had to cut away from the interview, and I hope Ken and Leroy will excuse us for that. But this is the big story. See how long it takes. Remember, David Pearson, the second place car, made it in 22 and 9/10 seconds. There is the screen, the safety screen on the left side of the car that they all carry. 22 flat, according to our clock, and he also gets out of the pits unimpeded. He was not held up because of traffic. So, Bobby Isaac is not going to lose any of his lead. There is Richard Petty trying to get by him, who is 3 laps down. And not succeeding. Bobby Isaac holding him off.
And now, guess who is leading?
And now Dave Marcus, in fact, right here, is the leader in the race. He must pit, no, remember, but for the moment at least, he has moved up from 12th place to 1st place, and we'll see how that story ensues in another minute.
Move on, Mark. Yo!
Hey, Bart, where are we camping tonight? I gotta start chow cooking.
It's up on yonder bluff, Cookie, but you'll never get that pickup up there. Ain't even a road.
Well, I got a sawbuck that says this pickup will make it.
He don't know there's a 6-foot chasm at the top.
This is a 1971 Ford pickup, the rugged hauler, the one that works like a truck but rides like a car.
Go, baby, go.
That's because of Ford's twin I-beam front suspension, 2 axles instead of 1, that step over bumps independently. That means a smooth, car-like ride.
We did it!
All right, Cookie, you won. That Ford is too tough. I'm off to wrestle a grizzly and kiss me a pretty girl.
I hope you don't get it mixed up again.
Ford gives you better ideas.
Americans speak out on the National Polling Day special, Friday night.
Again, we return to Greenville, South Carolina, and there is the leader, Dave Marcus. Remember, he is the leader, we would assume, temporarily, because he has to pit, and all the other leaders have already made their pit stop in the race. But he did start 12th. He has moved up now to take the lead. Fellow from Wausau, Wisconsin, and here he comes into the pits.
You know, Jim, Dave from Wisconsin does not have a heavy team of well-drilled crewmen. These fellows are helping out from the area here, and we hope that his stop is on a par with the others that we've seen today. He's a great guy. He's never won in NASCAR competition.
They don't look like they're too slow at that. A real quick pit stop, 15.9.
That's the fastest of the stops. Look at him coming out of the pit gate. Whoa, it's a tight squeeze on the wall.
Okay, the pit stops go on, and the racing goes on at Greenville. Benny Parsons has been in the pits, and he's coming back out again. Remember, Benny has been in third place in the race, but Bobby Isaac, again now, is the leader, as he has been all afternoon. Bobby Isaac, the defending NASCAR champion. He won the Grand National Championship last year. Not leading money winner, remember, but the champion for the year on a point basis. And to win that point championship, you have to race on the small tracks as well as the big ones. And Bobby is the fellow who can do that. He can race on both kinds very easily. Very well. There's second place again, David Pearson. And Ken Squire had some words with David earlier that I think might prove interesting right now. Let's listen to that.
If you had your druthers, where would you rather go buy somebody on this track?
Well, if I had my druthers, I'd rather go by them on the inside, because I have run here quite a few times. And if you get on the outside, the groove is right against the rail on the inside. So, like I said, if I could have my druthers, I'd rather be on the inside then, because it is kind of hard to pass on the outside. In fact, it gets a little tight, and the racetrack seems like it's a little slick up high. So, I'd rather be on the inside anyway.
And there you have it, a complete rundown on David Pearson's druthers. If he had his druthers, that's what he'd rather do in many situations. Right now, he'd rather be ahead of this car, number 71, instead of being behind him in the race. I'm sure of that.
Well, a little bit of tragedy. Marcus' pit stop was accomplished in 15 and a fraction seconds through, of course, fast work by those friends of his, but also he took on only fuel. He did not change his right side tires. It is the only one of the contenders here that hasn't done that. And there, Isaac going by Benny Parsons, or is he?
Well, by taking that chance on the tires, of course, he gained about some 6 or 7 seconds on second place David Pearson, and he's only about 4 seconds behind him now.
You know, that move may not have been strategic on the part of Marcus, Jim. It could have been economic. He couldn't afford the tires.
Or maybe his amateur pit crew doesn't know how to do it, you know.
Oh, I doubt that.
Well, there he is right now. cruising along in third place behind Isaac and David Pearson. The official scores, and we will give you this now, the official scores now say that Benny Parsons is in second place. We don't believe that, and we may be wrong, but our unofficial standings still show it is number 71, Isaac, number 17, David Pearson. And we'll stick with that until proven wrong.
Well, they'll resolve that hopefully before too long and give us a confirmation, one or the other. At least we...
And, of course, we have number 2, Dave Marcus, in third place. So with those, the unofficial standings, Isaac, followed by Pearson, followed by Marcus. We're going to go away again for a message and come back.
When Sears set out to bring you a better tire, we designed all kinds of fiberglass tires and put them through all kinds of tests to find the ones that would stay stronger longer. We tested them for toughness. We tested them for mileage and came up with the tires that stayed stronger longer. Dynaglass tires with 2 fiberglass belts and a choice of 2 or 4 tough body plies. Dynaglass tires. Only at Sears.
Hey, Dad. I can see our car.
It's the bottom of the tent, huh?
Our lights are on.
One run will do it, Willie. My lights. I'll be right back.
The Sears Die Hard battery. Extra starting power to start your car when most batteries won't. The Die Hard. Sold only at Sears.
We're back again to the live race in Greenville, South Carolina. You can see the sun is beginning to set down here in Dixie as the leader continues to be Bobby Isaac of Catawba, North Carolina, defending NASCAR champion and winner of the last 3 races that have been conducted on this race course. Second place, as we have it, is David Pearson, and third place, Dave Marcus. We tell you again the official standings are saying right now that Benny Parsons is second. However, we'll stay with ours until that gets checked out. There is our second place car, David Pearson.
The James Hilton, the number 48, Jim, made a pit stop a bit ago and changed tires while he was in and got out in 19 and 3/10 seconds, which is the fastest of the stops where the tires have been changed so far today.
If you just happen to have joined us, so that's James Hilton right now, who is running up in the top 10, but not among the actual leaders at the moment. But this is a live race. It's coming to you from South Carolina. This is Jim McKay. Chris Economaki is the other voice you're hearing. Ken Squire is down in the pits. And this has been a rather incident-free race. There has not been an accident. There has been one yellow flag, and that was early in the going because of a car that spun briefly, sat in the middle of the race course, but nobody was hurt. It was an accident of no consequence, really, and didn't hold the race up very long. Everybody has made their one scheduled pit stop at this point. Bobby Isaac started in second position in the race alongside David Pearson, who had won the pole with a new track qualifying record. There's Dave Marcus, by the way, putting a lap on Richard Petty, who is having a very unproductive afternoon of racing, something that's very rare for that car number 43. Petty already this year having won more than $100,000 and being the NASCAR point leader. There are some of the people who come from all over the South to take a look at this one, particularly from the Greenville, Spartanburg area. It's kind of an afternoon picnic. You have a lunch and have a real good time.
Those were the members of the scoring staff, Jim, checking the cars as they go by, the wives and girlfriends of the drivers in the race today, counting laps as they whiz by.
Well, we have now gotten the official from the scores, and it is as we had it all along. I mean, that sounds like we're gloating. We're not really. But it is the way we had it.
We've been watching.
Bobby Isaac is on a lap all by himself. Then, one lap down, in second place is David Pearson, followed by Dave Marcus. Now, Marcus is on the same lap with Pearson. They're in second and third place. Another lap down, there's Marcus trying to move up on Pearson. Another lap down, we have number 72, Benny, there's the second place car. Another lap down, 2 laps behind, we have Benny Parsons, whom they had in second place for a while, and car number 22, Richard Brooks. And now in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in 6th place is Richard Petty. He has been moving up quietly back there in the pack, but he is 3 laps behind. The difference between the second place David Pearson and the third place Marcus is now just 2.4 seconds. So Dave Marcus is having I should think the ride of his life so far.
It's been his biggest day so far. He's been up in other races, but something has always befallen him of an unfortunate nature before the checkered flag wave.
A quick reminder here, too, that 2 weeks from today, we're going to have a special 10th anniversary show on ABC's Wide World of Sports. We think it's going to be very good. We're going to show you many of the things that you've seen through the 10 years of our existence. We're going to show you those again, but also you're going to be seeing many people with little anecdotes, little behind-the-scenes stories that you have never heard before, including a couple from a fellow named Chris Economaki. So be with us 2 weeks from today at our regular time, 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 10th anniversary show, 5 o'clock, 4 Central Time. Now we get a lap time on the leader. Anything around 22 seconds is very fast on this racetrack, where, remember, the speeds are considerably slower than they'd be on one of the big wide-open super speedways.
Well, the track record going into today's racing was 21.864 seconds, Jim, and 82.327 miles an hour, set last year by Bobby Isaac right after the track was paved. And Pearson went around at 21.803. That's less than a second, an average of 82.4.
Okay, well, there was a problem there. We didn't get that lap timing on the leader, Bobby Isaac, but perhaps we'll pick him up in a couple of laps. There he is, breezing along with the slight spring breeze that is blowing here today. "165 laps have now gone by of a scheduled 200. Second place car of David Pearson once again. And Dave Marcus moving up on him, but not close enough to him to get him in the same picture for you yet. But just be aware of that Marcus is moving up, and we could have a battle for second before this day is done. As a matter of fact, there's just one car in between them. There's the leader. Okay, 22.5, the lap timing on Bobby Isaac is what we had. That's pretty fast at this stage of the race.
Not bad at all. There's a lot of cars out there, and in the qualifying, they had the track to themselves.
47 cars came here to try to qualify. Just 26 made the field. There is second place David Pearson moving by the slower car of Bill Champion, one of the oldest drivers on the circuit. And now moving by Neil Castles, whom you may remember catching on fire at Atlanta last Sunday on our special race series, championship racing. The standings once again, Isaac on a lap by himself, 1 lap down, Pearson and Marcus, who's still moving up on him, 2 laps down, Benny Parsons and Richard Brooks, 3 laps down, James Hilton, who has now moved ahead of Richard Petty again. So, we have set the leaders for you once again. There is no particular battle going on at this moment, so I think we can safely have another message.
Some people put their slacks through a lot of punishment. No problem when they're Hager Forever Press Plus slacks. These stylish Hager dress slacks of fine Dacron and wool can take almost anything. Stretch them, twist them, rough them up all you want. They still look sharp. Hager Forever Press Plus slacks of Dacron and wool. Permanently pressed. The most wrinkle-resistant dress slacks ever tailored. Just $14. Also at $14, a wide fashion selection of plaids and stripes, all pre-cupped and ready to wear. You'll like Hager Forever Press Plus slacks, even if you sleep in them. The only thing you'll wrinkle is the sheets.
Dave Marcus there in car number 2 is still chasing David Pearson, trying to catch up with him for second place in this 100-mile NASCAR race. You see the smoke coming from his car, but that's been happening as he's going through the turns for about 70, 80 laps now, so it doesn't seem to be bothering him any. Quick reminder as we watch Dave Marcus that next Saturday, Wide World of Sports is going to take you to Nagoya, Japan for the 1971 World Table Tennis Championships. That's a much more than usual interest this year because for the first time in quite a while, Red China has sent a team to compete with teams from the rest of the world. There's been page 1 news coming out of that. The Communist Chinese have been extremely friendly with the other teams and finally invited the Americans to come to Red China. So right now, we can't tell you definitely, but we're trying very hard to follow the United States team to Peking this week. And should arrangements work out, we'll also include the U.S. Red China duel match next Saturday. It's the first time an American delegation's been inside Red China for 21 years, so Also next week from the Daytona International Speedway, the Daytona 125 stock car race, another super speedway race for these NASCAR drivers. And all of that next Saturday on Wide World, 5, 4 Central Time.
Bobby Isaac has just put another lap on Dave Marcus, Jim, as we saw on the screen. Running very well, and I'm a little worried about Dave and that smoking engine. It has been smoking a long time, but not to the degree that it is smoking now.
Also, he had been catching up on David Pearson. It looks now like he might be losing a little time to David. Although he's still about 3 or 4 seconds, that's all.
You know, Bobby Isaac told me before the race that he got a phone call this morning to come down here and race. Yesterday, he had not planned to race here, and now he's got better than a lap on the field.
Looks like it was a good idea. This, by the way, is the richest NASCAR race on a half-mile track they've ever had.
$20,600 in prize money, and the last place finisher, Jim, will get $625.
Looking at some numbers earlier today, Richard Petty did his first racing in 1958, and he won $750 for the year. Last year, he won almost $140,000, and this year he's already won more than $100,000.
You know, Jim, if Richard has a good year, he will be the first stock car driver in history to have won $1 million. He's getting right up there now, and his career earnings are 920-something thousand.
You can see that the shadows are beginning to lengthen here, quite literally, as the sun goes down, so the quality of the pictures as they go into some of the turns may not be quite as good as it was. But it's going to get dark here soon, that's the reason. There's the leader threading his way through traffic, putting another lap on Neil Soapy Castles, and now trying to put another lap on second place, David Pearson, or will be here in a matter of moments. 173 laps gone by, 27 laps left in this race. And still, there's only been one yellow flag all day. Well, here's a little word from Augusta, Georgia, not too far away from here, I guess about 150 miles. At the end of the third round of the Masters Golf Tournament, Charles Cootie is tied for the lead with guess who? Jack Nicklaus. The Bear is closing in, trying for the Grand Slam this year. He's already won the PGA. And he has announced that he's making a conscious effort to win all 4 of the big ones, PGA, the Masters, and then the other 2 that we'll be bringing you, the U.S. Open and the British Open. What a story that could be as the year goes on. But he's going to have to win it tomorrow. There is Isaac putting another lap on the second place car of David Pearson. He's now 2 laps ahead of the field.
And we saw Pearson just bump him a little bit as sort of a thank you in the turn.
Okay. There is Dave Marcus still valiantly trying to catch up with David Pearson, but that smoke may be his undoing before the day is done. Still running pretty well, however. On the subject of golf, remember, we also have the Tournament of Champions coming up very soon from La Costa in California. That's 2 weekends from now, as a matter of fact. Hope you'll be watching that one on ABC. Nicklaus will be there, and everybody who's won a PGA tournament during the last year.
It's Isaac, Jim, with a lap on the field. Pearson second with a lap on Marcus in the number 2 car, who was third. In 4th place now, the number 22 Dodge is Dick Brooks, with Benny Parsons in the number 72 Ford, having dropped to 5th. James Hilton in number 6 is number 40. There's Pitman is telling Benny, just as we're telling you, that he is in 5th place. Benny, you are 5th. That's the hieroglyphics. The Pitman is flashing Benny Parsons now. That's the method of communication between the men in the pits and the men in the car. In 7th place is Richard Petty, and in 8th place, in car number 39, is Friday Hassler, and Neil Castles in number 06 lies 9th here with less than 20 laps to go.
Barring amazing developments, Bobby Isaac is going to breeze to his 4th straight victory here in Greenville. And we'll be here to watch that victory as it unfolds. We'll be back here in another minute. "13 laps to go in the race.
On his head. He's gonna mess up my whole game. You gonna get it now, honey. You better get some of this and use it.
Natural Vitalis. It's greaseless.
What happens inside your system to plain aspirin and bufferin? This illustrates most of bufferin with its extra speed is already going to your headache when most of plain aspirin is still in your stomach. So with bufferin, there's less to upset your stomach when there's more pain reliever going to your headache. Bufferin, faster to your headache, better for your stomach.
Here is Bill Toomey, running in the footsteps of Jim Thorpe and Rafer Johnson and Bob Mathias, running in the cold and the dark of Mexico City, in the breathless air, winning the decathlon.
I was just one member of the 1968 Olympic team. You can take part in the 1972 games by helping send our team to Munich, Germany. Mail your contributions to the United States Olympic Committee, 57 Park Avenue, New York City, 10016.
Bobby Isaac apparently on his way to victory in Greenville. This is a live broadcast, and there are now 8 laps to go as he crosses the start-finish line. Only 8 laps, 4 miles, and Bobby Isaac will have wrapped up his 4th straight win on this track.
His 2-lap advantage sort of plays with his sponsor, an insurance company from Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's got a 2-lap insurance on his victory here right now.
Yes, he does, and it'll be now 7 laps to go. There's the second place car of David Pearson, who's a couple of laps behind now. There's third place Dave Marcus, and just behind him Richard Brooks in car number 22, and they're back on the same lap together now, so we have a real battle for third place between Marcus and Richard Brooks. They're right together. They're on the same lap. Brooks trying to move up to third. Marcus has slowed down a bit because of that smoke you saw, although now the smoke seems to have stopped.
He may
6
have
laps
burned
to go.
all his oil, Jim. This would mean that the engine might just go between now and the time the checker weighs.
Okay, well, there is Richard Brooks trying to get by him, and could be looking like they're lashed together right now.
Yeah, there's a race going on, a little wrinkle fender.
Remember, this race is for third place and some good points in the NASCAR standings. Marcus trying to hold off Richard Brooks. 5 laps left in the race. There is the leader. He has less than 5 laps to go. Now back to the battle for third, and Brooks has moved ahead of Dave Marcus. So it looks like Richard Brooks may be able to finish third here. And now there are 4 laps to go. Running under a late afternoon slanting sun. Beautiful Easter Saturday day here, Greenville, South Carolina. And in a matter of seconds, there are going to be 3 laps to go. Here's Richard Brooks safely in third place now, behind Bobby Isaac and David Pearson. Pretty soon we're going to be seeing that white flag. Yes, Chris?
That's right. Marcus's car has slowed appreciably. James Hilton has passed it, but not for a position. And Richard Petty is coming by him, too, but he has some cushion there. Petty's way back in 7th place. But Marcus's car is giving out now here, right near the end.
So he's trying to hold on to 4th place, having been passed by Richard Brooks. There is Marcus. Up on front, though, Bobby Isaac has less than 2 laps to go. Less than 2. There he is. And we can just kind of follow him home because it's going to be all over very soon. There's the white flag out now. There's the second place car, but the white flag has been given to Bobby Isaac, which means 1 lap to go. 1 more time around the half-mile track, and you're home free. Car number 71 will be the winner of this race. There's the second place car. But here it comes, the victory lap, the winning lap for Bobby Isaac of Catawba, North Carolina. Coming out of turn 4, headed for the checkered flag, and they're giving it to him now. It's all over. Bobby Isaac has won the 100-mile race in Greenville, South Carolina. Second place to David Pearson, third place to Richard Brooks, fourth place to Dave Marcus. And the crowd not heading for home. They're heading down to the fence to get a look at the car, to get a look at Victory Lane. And, of course, we'll be going down there, too.
That's a great big checkered flag Johnny Bruner Jr. is waving. A big crowd, perhaps one of the biggest in the track's history, something close to 15,000. And they did see a fine automobile race, Jim. A well-deserved victory for Bobby Isaac of Catawba, North Carolina.
Okay, we'll return here for a look at Victory Lane in a minute.
You start with an idea. It grows into a business. The business means greater responsibilities, management problems get more complex. You take on a partner, 2 partners, 3. Growth, expansion, change. John Hancock knows all about it from first-hand experience. That's why we know how to help you as you grow with stock redemption plans, key man coverage, cross-purchase agreements, or other complicated financial services that can help you manage the growth of your business. So no matter how large your business or how small, when you think of your growing insurance needs, think of your John Hancock man. His business is protecting yours.
John Hancock, huh?
Next Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports will take you to Nagoya, Japan for the 1971 World Table Tennis Championships. As we told you a while ago, for the first time in a good many years, Red China has sent a team to compete with teams from around the world. And also, we're attempting to follow the United States team through Peking this week. And should arrangements work out, we'll also include the U.S. Red China duel match next Saturday, the first American delegation to visit Red China since the Communists took over there some 21 years ago. So that's the World Table Tennis Championships. Additionally, next Saturday, from the Daytona International Speedway, we'll feature the Daytona 125 stock car race, another super speedway race for these NASCAR drivers. So be sure to join us for a most unusual show, I think, next Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports. There is Victory Lane. Ken Squire is down there. I can't see whether he has Bobby Isaac with him. Okay, Ken, go ahead.
Victory Lane, and it is a harmonious group around Bobby Isaac. Delighted to see him here, 4th time in a row, Bobby. Congratulations on a great run.
Well, thank you, Ken, and my car did work real good. I'll have to thank my crew, in the K&K Insurance Company for sending me down here, and Harry Hyde and the boys for setting the car up. They did a terrific job, put a good pit stop on me, and, I was able to keep my lead, and everything just seemed to go our way.
Did it ever miss a beat all day, Bobby Isaac?
Well, it really didn't, They tuned this 70 Dodge pretty good, and they had it tuned real good today.
Any problems out there at all?
Not really. Matter of fact, it was a little bit easier than I thought it would be. I figured that Davy Pearson and Richard Petty would run much better, but we came down here last year and backed off the truck and kind of dominated the race, and we came back pretty much the same way today, and just seems like that our car likes it better here than anywhere.
Bobby Isaac, you won 11 races last year, all on short tracks. Now you've taken your first short track victory of the season. Do you think it's going to continue from here?
Well, I sure hope it continues through, North Wilkesboro next week and Martinsville, Virginia the following week, because they're both 250-mile races and they're good paying races, and I'm looking forward to going there. Just hope I can run good.
Was it as hard on you as the super speedway today out here in the blistering sun?
Well, it sure was. Like I told you before, kind of gearing myself for a race, and this was a 100-mile race, and I probably couldn't run 125.
Bobby Isaac, Catawba, North Carolina, winning his first Grand National victory of 1971. He does it at the Greenville Pickens Speedway in style by just about a lap. Now back to Jim McKay.
Okay, thanks very much, Ken, and everybody trying to get a look at the winner here, a close-up look, as you just had. The winning speed for Bobby Isaac was 78.158 miles per hour, which is a new track record for here. He held the old one, the old race record of 75.345. And now let's run down the leaders for you. These are the official standings now. Well, thank you very much, Pickens County, the kind bunch of folks there. Youngsters holding that up for us. Bobby Isaac, the winner of the race. Second place going to David Pearson. Third place to Richard Brooks, who in the closing laps passed Dave Marcus. In fifth place was Benny Parsons. Sixth, James Hilton. In seventh place, the NASCAR current point leader for the year, Richard Petty, also the leading money winner. And behind him, Neil Soapy Castles. So that's the way the race went, and I think a more incident-free race I have seldom seen, Chris. There just was nothing. A very safe and well-driven race on a tight track.
An extremely well-driven race, Jim. The track is difficult. The straightaways are long, the turns sharp. The brakes were given a tremendous workout, and usually on a tight track like this, there are more spins. We saw one by Roy Main very early on the 8th lap, and was the only incident of the day.
Look, Ken, you hear me? I see you had David Pearson down there. Watch out for your words with him.
Sure will, Jim. David? John Bruner Sr., the chief steward, told you two fellows some explicit instructions about the start of the race, but I didn't think it was going to finish that way.
No, Bobby was running real strong. In fact, I was running real good to start the race, and I believe I broke a wrench or something in the rear, and I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't manage the car coming off a corner. I'd break loose spinning.
You ran real strong at the beginning of the event, and you had a tremendous duel with Isaac. How did he finally pull by you?
Well, finally, I just kept getting loose and loose, and I couldn't run, and Isaac come up and just passed me and went right on. I just waved by it. was your day to be on the pole, however, and Bruner told you before the race began that it was your turn to be the boss in this kind of event. I imagine you feel kind of sorry it didn't finish up that way.
Well, I was the boss on the first lap, but that's just about it. I think I led about 20, 25, maybe 30 laps, but after that, the car started getting loose, and at the end of the race, I just couldn't run at all. I had to just back off and let him go.
Spartanburg, South Carolina's David Pearson, who started his racing on this speedway many years ago and finished second to Bobby Isaac today in Grand National competition.
Okay, thanks very much. Ken Squire down in the pits with the second place finisher. That's kind of eerie looking, isn't it? That's actually Chris Economaki and me through the window. We aren't really superimposed or anything. There, you see, there's our little monitor and an inside look at the world of TV. And now an outside look at the crowd beginning to make their way through the red clay country of South Carolina to their homes on Easter Saturday night and then a nice day tomorrow, it would be hoped. It was a very pleasant day of racing, and it'll be back pretty soon to those Indianapolis cars, Chris, and then to the big Indianapolis 500 itself. It's going to be a great year of racing, isn't it?
Racing is going to have perhaps one of its best years, and I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of our viewers the happiest of Easters tomorrow.
Okay, and if you wonder how people get here, they get here in every conceivable way. As you can see, there are pickup trucks, there are campers, and look, these people brought a very fancy arrangement, complete with their ladder. They have their tables and chairs and their picnic, and the whole family from what looks to be about age 2 all the way up to mom and dad, and very often grandma and grandpa. There is a look from the rear at Bobby Isaac being literally besieged by the fans to whom, down here, this is the biggest sport in the world. That's about the story from here. We told you that 2 weeks from today we're going to have our 10th anniversary show on ABC's Wide World of Sports, complete, by the way, with a brand new song written for the occasion. You'll hear the gentleman who wrote it singing.
10 years ago I boarded a plane to search in the world of sport.
The executive producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Roone Arledge. The Grand National Stock Car Race was produced by Ned Steckel and directed by Andy Sedaris. The production coordinator of Wide World of Sports is Dennis Lewin, and our program administrator, John Martin. The associate directors, Joe Assetti, Jim Jeanette, and Bernie Hoffman, and the technical directors, Vern Hendrickson and Bob Bernthal. Tomorrow at 2 Eastern Time, remember, we continue our coverage of the NBA playoffs as the New York Knicks meet the Baltimore Bullets in the third game of their series. Until next Saturday, when we feature the 1971 World Table Tennis Championships and the Daytona 125 stock car race, this is Jim McKay with Chris Economaki and Ken Squire saying so long from South Carolina. Air travel arranged through and promotional fee paid by American Airlines. American has more 747s flying to more places in the United States than any other airline. It's good to know that you're on American. And again, remember, 2 weeks from today, you'll be hearing the song that's in the background right now as we bring you ABC's Wide World of Sports 10th anniversary show, a decade on the air. It's a long time, and we think you'll enjoy what you see on that April 24th program.
I think I've seen a plan. Men can shake hands and understand.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This has been ABC's Wide World of Sports.